being active and playing 4 games and then not, and like not feeling the best, and then like frustrated of like how hard I worked in the off season, and then like all I do is rehab and like continue to do this process and just like trying to trust that the best I can. And obviously there's really frustrating days, and there's days where like it's a little bit easier and like you're very, very motivated and like you're close to the finish line of getting back and being back. And then like, it's not like I have a training camp to like build up to like playing my first game again. It's like, no, like you're tossed into game 30.
Imagine the WNBA waking up to the shocking idea that its biggest star might have an expiration date on her career and that it reads 2026. Analysts are already making dramatic predictions about Caitlin Clark's future, and the league is reacting as if it has just received devastating news. From bold theories to intense insider speculation, this situation feels less like ordinary sports coverage and more like full-blown chaos unfolding on the court. Fasten your seatbelt. This story could end up being even more dramatic than a triple overtime buzzer beater.
If everyone can stop the pearl clutching for just a minute, and I say that as a turn of phrase, not because it's women's basketball, you'd realize this is the best thing imaginable for this league. And listen, I said this back when Caitlin was at Iowa, and everyone was, I thought, being overly protective of her, and I thought a lot of that had to do with like, oh, this little white girl in a black sport. And I was like, man, she is a badass and a trash talker and gives it as good as she gets.
The WNBA has hit the panic button, and it feels like it's stuck in full alarm mode. Not because of a groundbreaking TV deal or a highlight reel dunk, but because many believe the league's momentum is heavily tied to one player, Caitlin Clark. Some critics argue that without her, the level of excitement and attention surrounding the league would drop significantly. They exaggerate that if Clark were gone, other players, like Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull, might lose visibility too, and fan interest could fade just as quickly. The over-the-top claim is that without Clark, arenas would be nearly empty, with only a few leftover souvenirs in the stands, a dramatic way of saying that her presence has become central to the league's current buzz.
This is something that do not be surprised that President Trump speaks on with that kind of audience that is protective of a Caitlin Clark and what she stands for and what she represents. And they come to a conclusion that they believe she is being unfairly treated. That is going to be a problem for the WNBA. And based on Trump's history with the NFL and him being an obvious sports fan, goes to events and stuff like that, he pays attention to this kind of stuff. I'm just warning them, watch it, because if he gets involved and that base gets involved, because somehow, some way they embrace victimhood on a part of...
To be blunt, some people only debate this topic because they don't want to confront what they see as an uncomfortable reality. Caitlin Clark is operating on a completely different level. Supporters argue that she's playing a cerebral, high-skill game, delivering precision passes and making deep, difficult shots that seem almost unreal. Meanwhile, critics claim the rest of the league hasn't matched that same level of impact or excitement. The commentary also takes aim at Angel Reese, suggesting that the league is heavily promoting her as a marquee star. Detractors argue that her highlights don't generate the same must-watch buzz. The exaggerated conclusion? If the league relies on the wrong focal point, it risks fading from relevance. In short, the argument paints Clark as a transformative talent and questions whether the WNBA can maintain its surge in attention without her.
She is an object of scorn for good reason. She's awesome. She's swaggery. She does turn your home crowd into a road crowd. She is a frustrating player to guard, all of it. And if she is, for some of these teams, a bit of a villain, that's sweet. It only will make her better. She is already one of the 3 or 4 best players in the sport, as a lot of us thought she would be in short order. And sports are best like this.
Here's the twist. Some critics argue that the WNBA hasn't done enough to shield Caitlin Clark from excessive physical play or questionable officiating. In their view, it almost feels as though the league has made things harder for her rather than stepping in to ensure fair treatment. One common complaint centers on the referees. Detractors claim that legitimate plays sometimes go unnoticed, while Clark appears to receive inconsistent foul calls. To them, games can feel chaotic, as if strong performances are being undermined by puzzling officiating decisions. In short, the frustration isn't just about competition on the court. It's about a perception that Clark isn't always getting the benefit of fair and consistent refereeing.
I mean, yeah, like, I would have loved to win one of them, but honestly, like, 2 of my most fun nights in college were after losing the national championship. Like,
yeah, fair.
We had just as much fun. Like,
yeah.
I mean, yes, we were sad. We would have loved to win one of them. And I think I would have loved to win one of them. Not so much because, like, okay, yeah, like, I win one of them, we get, like, a ring, whatever, like, people celebrate. But, like, honestly, I think people celebrated us just as much as they did if we, didn't win, obviously.
The frustration in this argument boils over into calls for major changes. Critics sarcastically suggest that even replacing the referees with traffic cones would be an improvement, implying that officiating has been that poor. The commentary then shifts toward league leadership, taking aim at WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, whose name is sometimes mispronounced as Angelbert or Angelberg. The claim is that leadership hasn't done enough to address concerns about officiating or to protect the league's biggest star, Caitlin Clark. It even goes further, invoking Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, and suggesting that if higher-level oversight doesn't step in to correct the situation, then broader leadership changes should follow. In short, the rant reflects intense frustration, arguing that league officials and leadership need to take stronger action to ensure fair play and properly support their top talent.
If everyone can stop the pearl clutching for just a minute, and I say that as a turn of phrase, not because it's women's basketball, you'd realize this is the best thing imaginable for this league. And listen, I said this back when Caitlin was at Iowa, and everyone was, I thought, being overly protective of her, and I thought a lot of that had to do with, like, oh, this little white girl in a black sport. And I was like, man, she is a badass and a trash talker and gives it as good as she gets it. And
The argument continues by saying it's unrealistic to expect things to simply fix themselves. Yes, Caitlin Clark could remain in the WNBA, keep putting up 30-point performances, and endure constant physical defense. But critics question why she should spend the prime of her career in a league they believe doesn't fully value or protect her. Some suggest that if Clark chose to play in Europe, such as in the EuroLeague, she might earn more money and compete in what they perceive to be a more structured and respected environment. The claim is that she would receive stronger officiating support and broader recognition there. The commentary also revisits the much-publicized rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, arguing that the competitive gap between them is overstated and that marketing efforts have amplified the matchup beyond what the on-court performances justify. Finally, the speaker makes the sweeping and highly controversial claim that the WNBA's overall skill level is weak, while acknowledging there are a handful of elite players who can match Clark's talent. They argue that media coverage and highlight reels heavily feature Clark, reinforcing the perception that she drives much of the league's visibility. In essence, this is a strongly opinionated critique, suggesting that Clark's talent stands out so dramatically that it raises questions about the league's competitiveness, marketing strategies, and long-term direction.
Good news and some bad news for those who are fans of pretend basketball. For those who are desperate to see the WNBA succeed, even though this dump of a league can't seem to get the hell out of their own way. Now, the WNBA, they refer to these people as fans, but the rest of us, we prefer to call them the mainstream media. The good news is, WNBA ratings have been somewhat solid, even though Caitlin Clark has missed damn near the entire season.
When the inevitable State of the League press conference happens, Cathy Engelbert will likely highlight growth and engagement, even as critics point to declining buzz without Caitlin Clark. Meanwhile, Clark's performances overseas could be dominating headlines and social media, leaving many fans wondering how the league let its biggest star slip away. By that point, frustration would have turned into resignation, with people looking back and thinking the situation could have been avoided if leadership, including Engelbert and even Adam Silver, had handled things differently.